Good morning again from Yummy B TV. Wishing you all well today. Sending loads of love as usual. More requests and comments coming in about Viccei, Goldfinger Palmer, the staff, Parker's during that time, what it was really like and why everybody wanted to go Parker's before the escape. I'll tell you why. It's simple. Many inmates on allocation from down in London or all over the country would give backhanders to staff to get to Parkhurst. The payment sometimes £300, £500, depending on what kind of money you had to really throw away, really. But that could be angled. Let's not get this thing twisted. Those that lived it know that's one of the ways it used to work. Because you could end up in Albany, you could end up in Dartmoor, you could end up anywhere. But with the right screw, the right officer, the right allocation bit, you can get to Parkhurst. Everything was happening in Parkhurst at that time, from booze, drugs, big parcels coming in all over the place, right? Imagine I didn't get long enough during that spell to pass through, if you get what I mean. One of my biggest regrets, and then I got there as the escape just happened with Rose and all that. You know, many talks about that, but that's how lackadaisical it got before the escape, if you get what I mean, because many blind eyes were turned to many things. The story about Viccei and the 4 ounces of ash, one of my old robbing partners, George Campbell, rightly says, you know, he also was under pressure in some ways. And many big name players are under pressure at some stage. And another thing as well, never forget this, the staff and the authorities like it when big name players are under pressure. Because as far as they're concerned, the majority, they want to see you taken down. This big ego stuff, these big crimes things, these big name things, they want it to be that you're just another number. And again, the stories unfold where they can be able to say, yeah, this happened and that happened. Well, it wasn't so hard then. And do they play their part in turning a blind eye when some of those alleged big name hierarchy criminals with crimes and whatnot and other things being said in the background? Do they play their part in turning a blind eye? Uncle Yami says yes. So that time there beat Viccei again, all the robbers from back in the day. You know, you get a 9 ounce bar of ash. Some go to you, you say, no, I don't know you, but you're forgetting they don't like to be told no. You got the top bit where you got the money, you got the middle bit where they can just go and pay it, they got enough money. The top bit where they get in all the gear. Then you've got the middle bit who don't run out of money, who can always buy an ounce or, you know, off you, or phone cards, do whatever, you know, because you got the money, you don't have to put yourself on offer. And then you've got the lower end of the scale, which I would have to say that I fall into that category. The dogs on the ground. So when everything's running around, they feel like they're being left out because they're hungry too. They want to get some easy time done like everybody else. So what do? You know, they group up. The intimidation starts, the manipulation starts. They've been in on a couple of people already, so the thing's been set from the other lot saying, well, he went in on him, he went in on them. And remember, some of the big names also asked some of them to go in, some of us rather, to go in on certain people to get rid of the competition. You know how it could work sometimes, but then a lot of those times that bad way of living can come back to haunt you because you've got to live it forever. And those figures that, you know, I try to stay clear. I made some good decisions when it came, because you and I both know they big egos, they take it to heart. You know, they got the money. One of those days they could come out and find you. They can pay somebody else to do it somewhere else, or a little letter here, little letter there. Do you know him? Do you know? So you're going to be paranoid. It could come on. You could get your comeuppance at some stage. But when that was happening with Viccei, right, because remember I only had a few days on the wing. Now, he got the 9 ounce of ash, and then he was saying to me, Happy, who's this guy? Who is this one and that one and that one? I was saying, yeah, those are the real dogs, Valerio. He said, but Yami, I could fight. I could beat them all up if I really want to. No, you could, Viccei. Oh, really? You know what I mean? But, you know, then it came down to it. He gave it to George, the 2 ounces. He gave the 4 ounces to George. George, I didn't go for it. Ask yourself why. You know what I mean? Ask why Uncle Yummy never, because I don't want it to be that you're giving me that to protect you. I'd rather be your mate anyway. And if you come up to me and say, Yummy, yeah, so I don't want you to feel like you're forced into giving me anything. So George, yeah, dear George would take that. Yeah, Yummy, yeah, but we'll go and give them lot and bring them in so that they stay away. You lot just call like, you know how it works. You're all right then, do it, but you know they're going to be back the next day, and if time this thing, they'll always use that one. Well, we just go up, you know, like that. But again, Viccei, you're giving away things for nothing. At the end of the day, you're playing the game. You know, Goldfinger Palmer wasn't really playing. He's not that kind of man. He's not going to play the game with everybody. You know, with me, that's a different thing because, you know, that I met him a couple of times before. So I was established there. So, and I was reliable towards him. That thing that happened in Coldingley, right? Rightly says, he got bandulued in Coldingley. So I hear, you know, I mean, I wasn't there for that one. But you lot rushed in there. I mean, what does a man do? You're wearing your Rolex wristwatch this time, and they're all piling in or whatever, and they want to rob you and beat you as well, give you a hiding. Allegedly, apparently, this is what I heard as well during that time. I was kind of gutted to hear it as well. But, you know, is it such a hard thing to go in on somebody like that? And attack them, and the staff turn a blind eye or whatever. They don't really care, and then they move you and they say, oh yeah, this happened, that teach you to wear your stuff. You're just another prison number in here. You know what I mean? And then Goldfinger's got to carry that around with him. But would he have forgot? I don't think so. Personally as well, knowing him, the man that I was. And remember, he was a really calm, cool geezer. He was kind of respected by all, if you get what I mean, in there. I don't know how he was outside. I'm not talking about his crimes, you know what I mean? All of us would have committed crimes and done bad things to people during that life. That has to be accepted, man. What do? You know, in reality, my way of making amends is obviously giving back. Some of these guys never really got the chance to do it. Maybe the prestige and the lifestyle of having loads of money and living that fast life with big cars and big jewelry and all that, really and truly, that don't interest me today. But a man could leave that life and be a businessman and still live that kind of life. But really, what does it all really prove anyway? But every man to their own thing, you know what I mean? But for a man to get robbed in jail, let's have this thing right. It's not really a hard thing if you've got some real animals coming running at you to come and take it, and you just reach somewhere as well and you haven't got the protection around you where you've got your security, that kind of thing. Like people like, you know, me that could have stepped in, he knows everybody, listen, nah, that can't happen, you know what I mean, that kind of stuff. So everybody is vulnerable to that kind of thing. Viccei as well, he made me laugh as well, because he would play like he didn't really like feeling that way. And there's always a way where a man's left feeling like that. If he feels like he's forced to give you, that doesn't mean that he likes you, does it? It just means that he's playing the game at that time. You know what I mean? Not, but you know, I was bad, but I soon knew where to tread. But man, as we know, they don't care where they tread. You know, that's the reality of that life in there, especially in the big pond, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, them officers as well, they don't care. All right, you get the odd whisper, some will be on the payroll and they'll warn you about this one and that one and he's wrong and that. They'll spread all that around and all that kind of stuff. But in reality, the majority can't wait for you to be pulled down. That's why I tell you there's so many mix-ups from different staff when there's big fights. They'll tell you, yeah, no, he was with it. They'll milk it all, bring it all into the mix to upset things and blah, blah. So you all turn against each other. And what do? They all just pick up the pieces. Now with the youngsters and everybody just run wild and then turn and then pick up the pieces. Now it's got even worse now because, you know, the gang culture back in the day, it wasn't really like that. But just answering the questions, just on my way out. Coming up later on, probably some more drama. Loads of love.